Hello everyone, it's Peter. Welcome you back. In this class, we will finish up about the step function and with the lambda and the batch. Okay, let's go to this picture. So last time we already make test to make this work, and now but this is all dummy one. This is just the path state and this path state. So I need to change this one. Invoke batch to process file to the real batch. And this one, lambda, will go to a real lambda. So let's change this one. So we can search for batch. Okay. In the batch, there's a submit job. So I will move submit job here. Okay, I will delete this one. Okay. In the submit job, let's go to the configuration. I can move here. This is a batch submit job. So I can run invoke batch processing. Invoke batch processing. So then let's move down. Enter the job name. I can say EMP job. EMP job. So you can use any name. This is a fixed name. Batch job definition. Okay, so this definition we go to the which one? We have EMP job definition here. Right. Job queue, and we go to the this queue is training queue. Okay, and let's move on. There's a optional parameter. Okay, so we can give an option. So we need to have parameters, right? We select this parameter. Okay, in this parameter, okay, so we need to input the bucket and the file name. So we have a bucket with dollars. This bucket name is from the upper workflow. So this is $bucket. Then here I use file name. This bucket is the variable name of the bucket. We use the let's make sure we have that one. Let's say batch. So this is a job definition. Let's see this definition. In this definition, we have two variables. One is called bucket, one is called file name, right? I have to replace it with the file name. So file name also use dollars because this is variable. If it's a fixed value, we just say bucket without dollar sign. We can give a fixed name. But here we have to give a this dollar file name. This is from the upper flow, bucket and file name. Okay, and so here you can check it or uncheck it. Wait for task to complete is synchronous. It means that this batch process will be wait until this step function will wait until the batch process is finished. Okay. If you uncheck this one, is not synchronous. So we will do it later. We'll talk about it later. Then go to the end. Then apply and exit. So then you can see the input here. This is the choice, and then go to the invoke batch processing. So invoke batch processing, the resource is a batch. You can see this is a sync. Sync means that the procedure is synchronous. Synchronous means that it's step by step. When the step function moves to the batch job, so the step function will hold there until the batch job is finished. It's called synchronous. If I remove this one, it's not wait. It means that I will invoke the batch and finish the step function immediately. Then batch job will working at the same time. So to launch a batch, it will spend some time. Okay, to launch EC2, so it take a while, a few minutes. Right? So this is the this part. Okay, let's save. Okay, let's save it. Now, let's come back. Let's go to the workflow again. So this part is done. This batch part is done. Then lambda, call lambda. Lambda, we already have a file path lambda. Let's go back here. We have EMP lambda, but this lambda has a problem. Okay, this let's say EMP. So this lambda accepts the S3 event. Okay. But we don't need S3 event. We need an object which contains bucket, file name, and size. Okay, we need to change the input. So here I just want to make a different branch to pull that this master branch. I already committed my code, so I need to switch let's say team. Switch to a new branch. New branch, I will give the name like release 1.0. Okay, 1.0 version. Okay, so in this one, I will have a new model. Let's say new class. Let's say is from upper flow is called a file request, right? It's a file request. So there's a request from the file. So we have 3 fields. It's bucket, file name, size. Right? We need a 3 field. Okay, and then I need to override toString method as a log purpose. Generate toString. Now that's done with the file request. So here I will change the file request. Change this to file request. These two file request. So I change the event to request as a more meaningful name. This is request. Received request. So here now the bucket will change to request dot get bucket. And the key actually is file. The file name is request dot get file name. Okay. Then we're done with this one. So here I need to remove the S3 event. Yeah, this code should work. Now, so let's check. Let's make a simple test to make sure this code. Others is all good. There's nothing change. There's nothing change. Yeah, and after that it will be deleted and saved to DynamoDB. So it's the same. Okay, we only need to change the input event, S3 event, to the file request an object, and to retrieve the bucket name and the key name from the request. Now let's move ahead. Let's go here. First, let's clean up the DynamoDB to make sure the DynamoDB has no the data. Okay, ignore table. Okay, there are no such data, so we go to S3. At least we need to run this data. Yeah, it already have the employee 0.csv. Okay, so we need to input the 2 size. This size actually is 69 byte. So let's run it. Okay, run as run configuration. Sorry, not run. Okay. It's I need to upload run function here, so I can enter the JSON input. I don't need this one. Let's make a better one. Okay, let's make a better one. So here, let's do it. We have bucket. The bucket is this. This is the bucket. Then we have file name. File name is this CSV. And then we have size, which is 69. So this is our payload. Then in the test, I will input this payload. Okay. And then let's invoke. So first is the update function. Then invoke function. Okay, check array. So I think this is the last time. Okay, in just out of bound exception with the records, so that's 0 because there's no records. So let's run it again. So last time I mentioned that every time you run, you only run with the last code, and then you commit the current code. The next run will be the latest code. Run function again, enter the JSON format. Yeah. Let's run it again. Okay, it will work. Okay, so path file, yeah, this one is good. So always, if you run it, it's always run with the last time. Okay. Now this is the file name, and then it's all good, right? It's all good. So let's check. Let's refresh this one. So it's gone, and then we go to the DynamoDB. DynamoDB, and these records will be saved in the employee exploring table. Okay, so this record is saved. So now I can delete them. So because I need to make a next test, I'll delete them. Okay. Now after that, I can change this to Lambda. So there's Lambda. Lambda is the most popular one. So I move here, go to the Lambda. I delete this one. So wait, I need to shift this one, right? Okay. Okay, then let's cancel it. Okay, so I messed up. Let's leave. I cancel it again. Let's go to the workflow. Okay. So when I move to the invoke, I invoke here. Then I delete this one. Yeah, to make sure this is the batch process. This is invoke Lambda. So I change the state name. Invoke Lambda processing. Okay, one is batch processing, one is Lambda processing. Okay, now let's go to the details of the Lambda. In this Lambda, we have function name. Function name is employee file parser. Okay. And here there's a wait for callback. That's a more advanced topic. I will give an example of the tokens with Lambda, and in the step function in the future. That's a special topic. We don't have to go to that deep. And then that's it. It's just give a function name and apply and exist. Okay. And save. Okay. Now everything looks good. So this is a picture. We start from scratch. From beginning. We drop an event to S3 bucket, and then this event will trigger the event bridge with the rule. It will call the step function, and then the first step will pass the input from the S3 event to three fields: that's bucket, file name, and the size. And there's a choice based on the size. If size is big, we go to the batch processing. If the size is small, we go to the Lambda processing. Okay, now we can make a test. Let's move to the S3. So I have two files. One is employee one, and the other is employee two. Employee one has small records, only 3 records, and the employee two has last time I see 10,000 records, so I think it's too much. I just use I rebuilt the employee two, and it has 200 records, which is the total size is bigger than the than 1,000 bytes. Then let's go to this one. So the first step, we need to upload one file, which is employee01. We already use this for a lot. Okay, this file has only 69 bytes, so it will go to the Lambda function. Let's upload it and close. Now let's go back here. I can see the execution. So it is running. Okay. It is running. Let's wait for a while. It's still running. I can see the details. So yeah, pass input, check size, and it invokes batch processing. It invokes batch. So check size. I think something wrong with that. I go to this part. Then batch processing, then I need to launch it. Let's go to the duplicate. Let's go to the EC2. Yeah, it's really launched the employee batch server. Okay, it's launching. It's running. So it means that in this procedure, it's still waiting, right? Because this is a synchronous one. It's a synchronous one. So let's wait for a while. So then this time it takes time. So I think the check size part has some issue. Okay, so I just make a wrong swap. So for which size is bigger, which size is smaller. And let's go back. Yeah, it's still running. And then we go to this one to see if it's deleted. And so it's still running. So we can duplicate. We can see the CloudWatch. Let's see what's happening in the CloudWatch. Go to the log groups. Okay, that's a batch job. Batch job. Okay, that's the latest one. Yeah, starting the batch in the second, processing this one, start and save, and the file is deleted. Okay, it's all good. So I think this file is deleted. It's gone. And then this one, this instance will be automatically shut off. Okay, so that we can wait for a while. Wait for a while. So let's go back to the step function. If I refresh, it succeeded. Right. So the problem is it shouldn't go to the batch because the size is only 69 bytes. So then let's edit this one. Let's go to the workflow and this size. The rule is then here's the problem. I go to default, go to the batch processing. The size is greater than 1000. We go to the Lambda function. And that's the problem. Since I already built this, I don't want to change it. So I change the rule. Edit the condition. I change to less than or equal to, right? Save condition. So it's still 1000. Save condition. It means if the size is less than or equal to 1000, I go to the Lambda processing. And if the size is greater than 1000, then go to the batch processing. I will do it again. And then apply and exist, change a little bit. So here, if you have trouble to save, finally you will save it. You will save it. If you have trouble, you may need to create a new row to match the new request because the new row will contain the invocation of the batch and the invocation of the Lambda function. So I just choose the existing row because this row already contains those things. But if not, you just create a new row to save it. If you have any trouble with save, then maybe this is the very typical error. So you just create a new row to do that. And then what I do is I open the log. Okay, this is a log here. If you open the log, you also need to create a new rows. Okay, so if you don't make any change, then you can use the existing row. If you make some change, you need to check rows. You might need to create a new row. Then finally, I will save it. Okay. No, it's sitting down. Let's run the test again. First, let's go to the let's go to the CloudWatch. Let's go to the DynamoDB. I think the table already has the records. Explore the table. All the 3 records is there. Let's delete it. Action delete. Okay. Now, let's run the test again. So first, I go to the S3. Then here is the state machine. Go to this one. So first, I drop the small file. This time, the small file will go to the Lambda function. Last time I just swap it, just upload, close it. So then we go to the step function, we refresh the status. So it's running. It's running. So let's go inside. Okay, now you can see it go to the blue part. Blue part is currently running. Okay, I think this time it should be fast because it's not a batch. We can compare with that. It's not a batch. Okay, and the task failed. That's what's wrong. Resource. That's a summary try. So it's not authorized to perform. Oh, this role is not authorized to perform the Lambda. Okay, so now I got a problem. The reason is if you invoke the Lambda, so the role does not support the Lambda. The role I just mentioned that I use the existing role. Existing role means that I can do it, but when I call the Lambda function, this existing role doesn't support the Lambda function because Lambda function is a new AWS service, right? So it will have a retry. It will retry 3 times, and finally it will fail. Then it's a retry and a retry. Retry is by default. You can also update the retry. You can reduce the retry times. Okay, so here I need to modify that. Okay, let's go back to it. So because it cannot invoke the Lambda function because the role is restricted, let's delete it, and we can test it again. Let's permanent. Yeah. Delete. Close. Now let's go back. Finally, it will fail. Okay. It has 1, 2, 3. By default, it will retry 3 times. Retry means that something might be wrong, but if you retry it, it has it could have a better. It could go through. It may also fail, and finally it failed. Right. Go here, it failed. So now the reason is, let's edit state machine. The reason is I cannot enter the existing row. I need to create a new row. Okay, create a new row. This new row will automatically cover the Lambda function. Let's create a new row. Okay, let's this one. This is the login part I already included. Create a new row, right? Create a new row. Then I just save it. Okay, so this one you don't have to worry about those things, but you just add a new row and it automatically will cover the Lambda function. As I just mentioned, so if you add some new AWS service, sometimes you need to add a new row. Sometimes the existing row is already covering that, but sometimes you need to add a new row if you face this kind of issue. Now let's do it again. Hopefully this time it can work. Okay, let's still go to this one and close. Step function, go here, so it's running. Okay, let's move here. Okay, now it's green. So did you get it? So the row is very, very important. In the first class of AWS, I already mentioned the concept of row, but after the several classes, I think you should have more and more understanding of the rows. So this row is working. So finally, it's succeeded, right? Succeeded. Now, this is one test for the Lambda function. And if you go to the items and the view table, so explore table items, refresh, see. So then 1001, so the 3 records is saved. Now next, I will drop another file. So this one, if I refresh, is deleted. Now I upload another file. This file is imported too. In this one, you have 4.1 kilobyte. Our size is 1,000 byte, so it's more than 1,000 byte. So this will launch the AWS batch. So the EC2 already terminated. It's automatically terminated. So let's run it again. Upload. Now let's go to the step function. Let's refresh it. It's running. So this time we will wait for more time because this is a batch, it's not a lambda. Yeah. Actually, now we build a very typical use cases in the industry. That is, we have every day we have lots of data in the database. We want to migrate those data to DynamoDB from the legacy system to DynamoDB. So from the legacy system, the data may be saved in the relational database, like in Oracle, in DB2, in MySQL, or in SQL Server. So you can retrieve the latest data. Okay, every day maybe some new records is added to that table, and you need to retrieve those records and write them in a CSV file. So it's pretty easy to convert all the data, all the table data into a CSV file, and then you can drop this CSV file to some bucket, and in this bucket it will trigger the step function. The step function will pass the S3 event to pass the event, and then the step function will check the size of the file. If this is a big file, we will move to the batch function, will to the AWS batch to process the file in batch. If it's a small file, we can use Lambda to do that. Okay. Now it's still running, and finally all the data will be saved to DynamoDB. And for the new system, the new REST API, we already have ECS and employee services, and they will not connect to the Dynamo to the relational database, to the legacy database. It will call the REST API will call the backend with the DynamoDB, and then the new system will start it. It's still running. Let's go to the EC2 instance. I think another EC2 will be running. It's not yet. Last time it is running. Sometimes I need to wait for a while, for several minutes. If I go inside, go to processing. So that's task submitted. Because it is synchronized, I have to wait. Okay. So this is submitted job with this metadata, all those things. Okay. I can go to the batch. In the batch, I can see the jobs. In the jobs in the training queue. Okay, so it's runnable, right? The previous two are successful. This is runnable. So it's not started yet. So it's in the runnable status. Then let's refresh it. Okay, now finally it's running, right? The new one is running. Okay, then if we go to the batch, it's still it's a runnable status. I think I have to wait. And if you want to check, you can duplicate this and go to the CloudWatch. On CloudWatch, you can monitor the procedure of the job. Okay, go to log group. You can see the batch job. I think this is the latest one, right? This is the latest one. So you can see, oh, it's already started. Oh, this is the old one. This is employee 01. What file? I use employee 02, so it's not coming yet. The CloudWatch is not coming yet. EMP job. That's the previous one. Oh, this is a new one. Okay. So we can compare this one with the Lambda. We know the Lambda is very fast. but the batch is slow because when we launch the EC2 server, it spends lots of time. Then it will call the batch service here. So this is a start processing file. So that's the old one. I think then this is the new one. Yeah, it's 02. Okay, it's 02 here. Then okay, it's 02. It save all of them. Then process it. Okay, so it's deleted. Now it's finished. If I refresh this one, it's finished. And then if I go here, it's still running. Now CloudWatch already show it's finished. So in the job, if I refresh it, it succeeded, right? And then we move to DynamoDB. Let's check the records. Explore. So there are lots of records, right? There are lots of records with 10,000. The ID is over 10,000. There are so many records. So I need to query it, and the PK is equal to profile, and the SK I think is greater than or equal to what is 1,000, and that's wrong. So it's over 1,000. So I can delete it. DynamoDB to delete records is very difficult. Okay, and if it's a huge data, if you want to clean out all the tables, and the best way is to drop the whole table, to delete the table, and rebuild the whole the table again. Because rebuild the table is very easy. You just give the PK and the SK. That's it. Okay, you don't have to worry about something else because there's no schema. You just give the PK and the SK, which is a string and an integer. That's the best way. But if I still want to keep some records and I need to do this search, and then I can select PK, then I do this one, delete. So every time you can see it only returns 50 items. You can delete items, delete, and then another one, delete. If I have like 10,000 or 100,000, then in this way I have to delete like hundreds of times. So that's very slow. But this one we only have two. That's why I converted to 200 records. Then I delete it. Another one, I delete it. Okay, that's good. Now let's query again. So there's no SK. Let's scan. Okay, scan. Let's run it. Let's come back to those records, and then let's go back here. It's terminated, right? So everything is look good. So this step function finally is actually succeeded. Okay. So here you can see this step function is synchronous. So if you remove that .sync keyword, okay, let's go back to this edit state machine. If you remove this .sync, you can try it by yourself, and if you remove it, and it will finish immediately for the batch processing, and the step function will be finished immediately. Go to the end. It will be success. And the batch function is still waiting to run because it spends lots of time to wait until the batch function is finished. Okay. So this is two styles. So for the to start a batch, to start a project, to start a process in step function, there are three ways. You can use synchronous way like this, or asynchronous way, just remove the sync. Asynchronous way is that you can do it simultaneously. And the third way is you can wait for a token. That's an advanced topic. I will put them in a special topic. I will give an example in a special topic. And for this one, the whole part, I'd like to save as a this is a JSON file, the state machine. I will I think JSON view format JSON. I will put in my let's see, in my Lambda, right? I put somewhere. Okay, so let's save it. Save it. Let's go to, okay, that's in the training document. Okay, I still put it here. Let's use employee state machine.json. So this one is your preference. Okay, just So this is the one. So if you want to do the reference, you can go to check this one. So this is retry by default. There's max temp. Okay, never fails. You can also remove the retry. Okay, retry is a different story. I will talk about it also in a special topic. But this is state machine. I just save it. So up to now, I think all our code is perfect now. It's very good. So let's cancel it. Okay. So we have a step function, we have a batch, we have lambda. We make them work together to process the file from the legacy system. So from the legacy system, you can drop a file, and then you can go through the step function, and then process it in batch or in lambda based on its size. So we can prevent that the 50 minutes limit of the lambda function by the size. If the big size file, we go to the batch. If small size file, so lambda function should have 15 minutes should be enough to process a small file. And then all of them will move to the DynamoDB, and the DynamoDB records will be used for your REST API. So that's a whole picture of the industry. So this structure is very, very popular now. Okay. I think that's all for today. And next time, next class, I will talk about the serverless API for Lambda function.